Hi, Neota.
Hello, Miri.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
Good. So, we're talking still about trauma and hypnosis.
Yes, I love these hypnotic talks that we have. I love them. And after we're done, in that evening, I will still have other ideas pop in my head that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to talk to Miri about this. I can't wait to share. I can't wait for Miri and I to share this information with people. So today
So,
we are talking about trauma responses and the manifestation within relationships. And so instantly we think of romantic relationships. We think of the trauma that plays in romantic relationships. And that is obviously, a big part of
was
what
it?
happens with people's lives. But that's not the only case. We have relationships everywhere. We have relationships with our coworkers and bosses. We have relationships with our best friends or acquaintances. And all relationships are really a fulfillment of a subconscious need. And when that subconscious need is trauma based, we will continue to seek relationships that replay the cycle of a relationship from our early childhood, whether that is, a parent who was neglectful or cold or withholding.
Mhm.
We will seek relationships that fulfill that familiarity of, you know, cycles of trauma bonding where there is, an abusive behavior and demoralizing, and then recovery, like the love bomb or the accolades or the compliments, so like that cycle of harming you and then reeling you in and harming you and reeling you in and going in a cycle, and that creates a trauma bond. And we humans will recreate those relationships without the rest of our lives, trying to relive it with a better outcome. So we will try to heal our childhood relationship trauma in in life relationships going
Mhm.
forward. But if you haven't healed that part of you, or if you haven't developed any tools, the spoiler alert is that it doesn't end well. It doesn't end any
So,
better.
first of all, it's very true, right? We are reproducing the same patterns that we know and we are familiar with. But let's focus on how we can help in hypnosis because this is your area. Trauma is your area.
Trauma is my
Um,
wheelhouse, and especially a lot with relationships
yeah.
and the
So
way that trauma contributes.
how can you help people with hypnosis and either release the trauma or change the trauma or manage the trauma?
Yeah. So the main part, the main way that I work with my clients when they are, reliving their trauma bonds or recreating their toxic relationships.
Mhm.
And we all do it. We are all always trying to recreate our first trauma to have a different outcome. And so, for example, if a client is often when people feel like they have an instant attraction or like love at first sight, it's really a subconscious signal that that person is going to hurt you in the exact way your younger self is familiar with. So it gives you this like excitement, like, oh, I know that. And even when it's unhealthy, it will do that. And it's the parts of our personality that are developed inside of us to manage our behaviors, right? Every behavior has an emotion. Every emotion has a root cause. So, for example, if you have, or if I've had a client who was with a partner who would just be like say cruel things to them. And at the same time that it hurt their feelings and hurt them, it also fed this unhealthy craving for it. And in hypnosis, we were able to talk to that part and find out that it made them feel like they felt in their family home, which was at once comfortable and sad. But they actually would crave the sad feeling because the part of them was created before their fifth birthday. It was a very young part and it had a childlike response. And in hypnosis, we were able to talk to the part and reframe it and encourage it to seek, positive relationships, positive behaviors in relationships, to not be tolerant of, disrespect or cruelty, emotional cruelty. So we were able to give that part the healthy evolution that it deserved to have, creating a new boundary, creating healthy boundaries for the adult person and in the relationships. And that's just one of hundreds of
So,
examples.
so of course, one comes into hypnotherapy and wants to change something, and then they discover, or maybe they already know, that it has something to do with relationship bond or trauma bond,
Trauma
right?
bonding. Yes,
And
that
then, but then what happens when they don't need to feed this part of them that is looking for unhealthy feedback?
well, what we actually do is that part of them decides to be hungry for positive reinforcement, that
Mhm.
love, because humans are so complex, and so these things can be true, right? um, I can love my parent and not want to be treated poorly, and
Yeah.
those things are true. And so as we're adults and we have a better ability to understand complex situations like that, we can heal those childlike parts of our clients or ourselves, and set those boundaries and actually configure that part, that the belittling, the neglecting, the isolation or the withholding of affection should never have happened. And who would you have been if that hadn't happened? Because we mold that part, we reframe it, and that creates a space that is, has a boundary, has standards that are healthier, that don't tolerate those behaviors that were programmed early in life because they never should have been. And, even if the parent didn't mean to do it, or, I don't think anybody becomes a parent to be awful. I don't think that's what it is. It's unhealed people perpetuating unhealed behaviors generation after generation. And that's how we can clear out generational trauma. That's one of the ways. One aspect of generational trauma that we can assist with is breaking those bonds and reconfiguring them with boundaries and a higher set of standards for self-love and tolerance.
So basically, what we're saying is that in hypnosis, we gain a different understanding, different
Yeah.
perspective of the
Yeah.
situation, of our needs.
Yeah.
We also shape the part within us that is craving this negative attention differently, and now it can look for something positive in order to satisfy it.
Yes. Yes.
And,
We
and
allow you
we
to
can shape the entire relationship that way.
all relationships, not just romantic,
Yeah.
right? But all relationships can evolve. And the truth is that people are constantly learning from you how to treat you. And so you can even change current relationships. It maybe not, it isn't maybe just like changing lanes and everything's different. There might be some pushback, but you can change any relationship. It takes one step and then a second step and a third step, and it just keeps evolving until it finds a new way to relate,
Right.
to be a new level of healthy. And so we can, break cycles of dysfunction. We can break, we can change the partners that are attractive, that our subconscious is no longer attracted to the partner that is going to be unhealthy or toxic, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Relationships can only be as healthy as both of the participants.
That's true. And so we are mostly talking about shaping a part within you, an
Yes.
aspect of yourself that
Yeah.
is responding to and craving negative attention in a way. Like it can be anyway, it
Yeah.
can be words, it can be action, it can be physical, it can be emotion, it can be anything.
Yeah. It
Uh,
can be the subconscious signal that another person has the exact same volatility that we were accustomed to in our childhood, like even blow up, you know and our subconscious can detect that behavior in another person long before the behavior presents itself.
Absolutely. And so,
Just the same as well as how other people's subconscious is resonating with us. Will we tolerate being abused? Will we tolerate being mistreated? Do we have, boundaries inside of us that won't tolerate those things? Their subconscious is seeking us as much as we are seeking them.
yeah. And so, what it means basically is now when they create a new relationship or staying in the same relationship, the relationship themselves are shaped differently because they are not craving it anymore. They
Exactly.
they react differently and they attract different things.
Yes. Yeah, your polarity is actually changed in the world. The seeking of energies and the connection that will be made is actually it actually changes.
Right. Right. Um, and this is very interesting how we can gain a different perspective in hypnosis, see a bigger, wider picture as if we are seeing it from afar or from above or whatever, but we see much more, details
Yeah,
involved in every picture like this, and change it based on that.
exactly. And there are lots of ways to achieve that in hypnosis. I personally will use regression. I find that regression is very, very, very effective. That I take my client back to why that part was created. We go back there together, fully conscious, right? They're fully conscious, and we go back there in a controlled environment. And we give that person the ability to reconfigure their emotion in that
Mhm.
instance. So it's not re-traumatizing because the trauma
Yeah.
is already there.
It's
If we land
empowering.
there, it's sorry.
It's empowering, knowing that you can do things
Yeah,
differently.
you can do things differently. You can take care of your younger self the way that they didn't have the opportunity first time around. And the reality is in regression, we don't go anywhere that doesn't need to be healed. If we land there, it's because it's causing some sort of issue in your
Mhm.
current life. So we go there and we're able to comfort the inner child. We're able to give them what they need. And then all of the result of that is broken in the cycle going forward. It gives you the ability to be the person you should have been all along.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, how can people find you?
Oh, yeah. I am in Nanaimo, BC on Vancouver Island. I work out of Vancouver Island Therapy, but it's Neota Hypnotherapy. And I'm available online on my website, neotahypnotherapy.com. And I see clients in person here in Nanaimo, or I see people globally over video platforms, which is exactly as effective as an in-person session. It's just the experience is different, but the effect is the same, just like having a Zoom meeting as opposed to an in-person meeting. So that's where they can reach me, Miri, but where can people reach you?
So I'm in Vancouver, BC, and my details are down below. You can find them. It's Miri Malkin, one word.com. And I like you, Neota, I see people in my office, but most of my clients are we are meeting on Zoom. Most of them all over the world. And I love it that you are working with trauma. It's so well needed.
It's so rewarding for me.
Yeah, yeah, and I think many people can relate to that, and to the work that you do because they can gain a new experience after that.
Yeah. Yeah. Creating healthy boundaries, creating more fulfilling in a positive way relationships.
Absolutely, and we all need healthy relationships.
True story.
Yeah. So until next time, thank you so
Yes.
much. And if you have any questions that you want to ask Neota or myself, you can post it here or you can contact us directly. The contact details will be down in the description. You can also subscribe to this channel and get more information
Yes.
and discussions like this. Until next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miri.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone.